basically, outside of injury stints or whatever, every big leaguer rolls through the city at some point. So we've had some big names come through the city through the office in recent weeks, and some stuff will be popping up on probably by the time this is live. But Gunnar Henderson was by this season. Juan Soto was just in our office. We're trying to still see if there's a few other guys that we can sneak in here. He's so genuine, and if he's talking to an 8-year-old or if he's talking to Juan Soto, his approach is exactly the same. He just wants people to love the game of baseball the way that he does. So he's just trying to create the best possible experience for them. Sure. So just over my shoulder, you're seeing the fall current gloves that are launching. But if I inch this over just a little further.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Glove. I am your host, Ben Loafman. So for a number of years now, the way that the baseball glove market has worked as a whole is that each year around the time that school is starting, glove manufacturers will make their release of their gloves for the upcoming calendar year. For example, we're in the fall of 2024 right now, and a number of glove manufacturers just released what they're calling their 2025 gloves, intended for use in the spring and summer seasons that are coming up next year. Wilson had been following this method for a while with their Pro Stock models, commonly known as the A2000 and the A2Ks. But in 2024, things are changing. They have actually made an exciting update to the manner in which they'll be releasing their gloves moving forward. And here to discuss the change, we have their senior brand marketing manager, Aaron Gillette. Aaron, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So on this year, on July 31st, that was a big day for you guys. You guys delivered gloves like what I have right here. We got the Ellie De La Cruz game model here. It's got the super snake skin on it and that paint splattered backing. And this is what was called the fall launch. And in years past with this like late July launch, we'd have to wait another year to see more new A2000s and A2Ks. But that's not going to be the case this year, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, this is just the first rollout of 4. We're going to do 1 per season. So yes, this was the fall 2024. We're finally getting away from the, car manufacturer release a product a year way ahead of time. And so now it kind of helps timestamp when exactly a set launched. But yeah, we'll have the fall 2024 launch July 31st, the winter 2024 lineup will be a little bit later this fall, but we're really excited about this. It's a moment, it's a shift in how things have been done, and we're excited to be on the forefront of it.
Yeah. So this episode, we're going to be launching probably around like middle of October. So ideally, when we're launching this, it's going to be probably a couple, 2 or 3 weeks from when we release it to when we're going to see some new gloves. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So the winter line will be launching on November 6th. So we'll be probably, like you said, right as this podcast airs, if it airs mid-October, we'll be right into that teaser window for those gloves. So that'll be perfect for us.
Nice. And so with this launch that you guys had, we had to kind of kick things off here in 2024. We had like 15 to 20 gloves. Is that correct, where we were at for this launch?
I want to say it was 19 for the baseball A2000 and A2K Pro Stock side of things. We had another 4 fast pitch models that went with it, plus our classics. So whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the seasonal stuff was 19. That was definitely a big flourish out of the gate. We might be somewhere in the 10 to 15, depending on the season. We'll kind of flex up and down depending when we know ball players are out there the most, and what's cool athletes we're working with or whatever else might be going on at that time. But yeah, we'll be kind of in that 10 to 15 to 20 range of gloves every once a quarter, just focusing more on cool patterns, cool designs, bringing newness to the market more frequently, because we know that's what ball players want.
And is there for the October launch, for that late October, early November launch, is there anything you can tease for the fans on that, or we got to keep everything pretty close to chest right now?
Sure. So just over my shoulder, you're seeing the fall current gloves that are launching. But if I inch this over just a little further, you can see here's the winter lineup as well. As you can see, the theme is going to continue to be more and more color, more and more excitement, more game models. So we've got Matt Chapman's game model we'll be releasing, the one he's been wearing in San Francisco all season. He's a 4-time Gold Glove Award winner and one guy that we're really super proud of. So it's his latest and greatest that he built for his new team this year. We've got a new pattern called the MY7, which is a glove that Aso has designed with Masataka Yoshida from Boston. World Baseball Classic champion, and we're just working together on how do we bring kind of some of the marriage of what's awesome with Japanese ball gloves with the American gloves. So releasing that one, plus just some new great colorways. To a DW5, 1786, a lot of our classics, but just lots more fun colors and excitement. So people will have something to hopefully tuck under the tree or start working on breaking in for the 2025 seasons.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack with what we just saw there. First off,
Yeah.
I feel like Yoshida for Boston, there's going to be some fantastic stories because I think in the last Glove Day videos, I want to say like Aso had said that he'd already made like close to 20 gloves for him or something like that. I feel like you guys are going to have a vault of everything that you've made for him.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and that's a great callback. We did see Yoshida down at Glove Day this year. I'll grab his glove.
Uh-huh.
One thing that Yoshida really wanted to prioritize was something a little bit smaller, so similar to Mookie Betts, how he's preferred kind of a smaller outfield glove compared to that 12 3/4. He wanted a 12 1/2. So it's a new pattern. It's a dual post web, but it's got some of this technology that you've probably seen with our 1810 and some of our other gloves where the wrist is something that also redesigned to fit better for two fingers in the pinky stall. So it'll hug the wrist a little bit better, hug that pinky a little bit better. And just play a little bit more like an infield glove. So for ball players who are more used to maybe split time between infield and outfield, it's an easier transition to make than that 12 3/4 outfield glove. That's kind of the standard. So just a fun red, white, and blue colorway that plays a nod to the Boston, team that he's playing for these days, and everything else that's gone with it. But he's been a really fun player for Aso to work with. Aso being Japanese and having that connection to the World Baseball Classic team has been a passion project for Aso. So he also went a little bit crazy with designing lots of colorways, and this is the one that Yoshida landed on for this season. But yeah, you can expect lots of colorways from Masataka down the road.
Nice. The other thing that I had to note when you tilted your camera there, I've seen just a little bit on videos of like the Wilson headquarters. It seems like party time up there. I mean, you got like the glove walls, and I feel like your guys' office seems like it's pretty top notch when it comes to working there.
Yeah, we have a good time. So the room I'm in right now is we actually call it our Aso showroom. I was looking to try to see if I could showcase anything with Aso right behind me. I do have we've got some Aso bobbleheads.
There you go. For those watching or for those listening, he just showed he had a little Aso bobblehead to show us. So
that's right. Podcasting is an audio medium as well, right? Yeah. But no, so we have this showroom where we kind of have all of our stuff. I've got some walls on here that I won't show off with some of the future, product lines coming down the road. But you've also, hopefully, many of you listening have seen some of the videos we've done with pros coming by our office and just getting to see all of the different materials that we have in our toolkit, and to be able to make cooler and cooler gloves, whether it's a super skin, showcasing some of the patterns like what we did with Ellie De La Cruz. Mm-hmm. That glove that you're holding is actually a glove that came about from him coming to our office during the season and visiting us and talking through some of the things that he liked and some of the patterns and colors that he's passionate about. So we have lots of different ways that we can play, and ultimately we're a product company. If you don't have cool product around to get inspired, what are you doing, right? So yeah, our office is pretty fun.
Yeah. I would encourage everybody, keep an eye on Wilson. When you guys do the videos, it's just cool to see the Glove Day. I think is so cool just because you get to see they're big league ball players, but they kind of turn into little kids again when it comes to like getting new product and getting your hands on that stuff. So
yeah, totally. And
go ahead.
We've had just more and more guys. It's one of our big advantages of being in Chicago is that everybody has to come play at either the Cubs or White Sox at some point during the season. So basically, outside of injury stints or whatever, every big leaguer rolls through the city at some point. So we've had some big names come through the city through the office in recent weeks, and some stuff will be popping up on probably by the time this is live. But Gunnar Henderson was by this season. Juan Soto was just in our office. Mm-hmm. We're trying to still see if there's a few other guys that we can sneak in here. We've had Brenton Doyle and Ryan McMahon. I'm forgetting just tons of names, obviously, but it's something that we pride ourselves on and making sure that we give those guys a great experience. And then it's awesome when we get to bring it into the line like you've seen with fall and winter so far.
Yeah, I loved just for everybody out there, we were going to do this podcast about a week ago, but Aaron, that you guys had a big MLB guy coming through, and I was like, hey, I am 100% cool with canceling the podcast interview if you got an excuse like that. So I was happy to reschedule.
I did have to punch it for Juan Soto. That did happen. So I appreciate you guys being flexible.
No, that was great. But no, back to kind of with these lines. So we got we had our launch that came out at the end of July. We got another one coming out beginning of beginning of November, end of
November,
October
yeah.
kind of time. And then moving forward, we're going to look, is it like beginning of February and then beginning of May as well? Is that when we're going to have new pro stock launches?
Yeah, you nailed it. It's more or less going to be like a give or take a few days, February 1st, May 1st, August 1st, November 1st, moving forward is the plan. We're learning as we go here, so never say never, and we'll continue to do cool heat drops and SMUs and all that good stuff that we always do with you guys, and just on our websites and everything like that. But I think for us, it's that quarterly drop. We want to make sure that we're keeping things fresh, and also we're not going nearly as deep in inventory as we used to, right? Because now we're doing 4 times a year, so there might be 1786s in a given year as opposed to one. So definitely would encourage people, if they see something, to grab it. If they see something they like, don't wait around. Yes, new stuff is coming, but we're not going to keep just going back to the well on the hit, playing the hits on these too. So if you really love that, teal 1786 that's over my shoulder right now, go grab it, because if once it's out on justballgloves.com, it might not be available anywhere else much longer.
That's kind of wild. I haven't even thought about this yet, but I mean, that is going to create some like pretty wild, like maybe aftermarket stuff. If there's like a glove that really hit, I'm sure that only helps you guys, even though it's like to just that notoriety of the Wilson brand and all that stuff as it continues going on with the limited launches.
Yeah, and frankly, this is kind of where the reason we're heading this trajectory is that this is what kind of the culture that we have loved for a long time and have cultivated, and we're really proud of, is starting dating back to some of the Brandon Phillips gloves over the years. The original Dat Dude still sells for like $1,000 on eBay, which is
really
crazy, and
wow.
certainly something that we're not encouraging people to do. But there is this glove collector, audience out there who started wanting just cool gloves, and as we've continued to evolve what we're able to do with super skins and buff leathers and all these different tools and materials that we have, we've been doing exclusives and SMUs, and those are the things that we always hear from ball players that they love the most. So it's like, okay, well, we've been doing that as maybe the 10 to 20% of our gloves. Why don't we do that as the 80% of our gloves, right? Still offer the classics. We actually have a section called classics that we just have, our blacks, our blondes, and our saddle tans, because we know some ball players just want that. But we also know that more and more, this is what ball players are looking for. And we're always focused on, what do ball players want? What do ball players tell us they want? And how do we give them that? So this is really our best answer for now, and we'll just continue to evolve from here.
Nice. That's awesome. And then for like looking into the future, so we're talking like 2026, 2027, for all intents and purposes, like this quarterly launches is how we're rolling moving forward.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. We're already deep into the 2025 launches and starting to show those out to some of the folks behind the scenes like you guys. And so you guys are starting to see a peek at some of those. But this is the plan. Yeah, we'll be doing this through 2025 into 2026 and beyond is definitely the plan.
Yeah, I do have to say I've been able to take a peek at, we have a box with our photographer of gloves that haven't been released yet. It's kind of like the don't talk about it box, but every once in a while I do have to go down there, guys. There's some awesome gloves that are coming out over the next few months. So you guys definitely want to go ahead and definitely keep an eye on what Wilson's going to be releasing. But no, that's perfect. So yeah. One thing I did want to mention, so with this new launch, you guys have a specific pattern that has piqued a lot of interest, I think. So I have it right here. So this is the new 1724 pattern that you guys this is one that just released on the 31st of July, correct?
Yeah, so that was the first time we've brought it kind of in mass to the market.
Okay.
Was the 1724. There was a limited edition that we did with Omaha. There was a 1723 pattern that some people probably saw out there that was a predecessor to it that we decided wasn't quite as awesome as we wanted to make it in mass. So we made a few tweaks to get it ready for that 1724, but that is a newer pattern. It's snuck into a few big leaguers' hands from guys who've come to visit to our office and just talk to us about how they're playing the game. And really it takes a lot of that inspiration from the 1810 glove that we launched in the outfield a few years ago. And as more and more players are playing with 2 or even 3 fingers in the pinky stall, it was one of our answers to that. So if you look at the back of the wrist, it's got kind of a wave and a curl that is pretty noticeable compared to a traditional glove that's just kind of flatter back there, similar to what I was talking about with Yoshida. And that's part of the construction that ASO worked on, basically to make sure that the back of the wrist covers your hand better. And so it hugs you as you shift your two fingers into that pinky stall. It's going to hug the back of your hand better and feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that I really loved learning from ASO about this was that the inspiration for that was, yes, it's about catching the ball and making the play as you get there, but also he wanted something that was going to feel more comfortable as you're running to the ball. So the glove isn't feeling floppy or loose on your hand. So it's going to feel more comfortable as you're approaching the ball in addition to going and catching it. And then the last piece too, again, with the two fingers, is that the pinky really is going to get a lot closer to the edge of the glove, as opposed to if you put your pinky in a traditional glove, the pinky might actually only go kind of halfway into that pinky stall, but really you can see where you're pointing on the glove, your pinky really goes all the way down there. So you get further into that part of the glove, which helps you kind of create that deeper pocket, which is what most players are looking for when they do the two fingers of the pinky stall. So it's been something that's been in the works for a long time. Bobby Wood Jr. picked one up. He's been gaming it all season. Jordan Westbrook, when he came into our office, was another guy who has been always playing that way for his pro career and is really interested in shifting to it. So it's something that when we talk to players about and they get to try it on for the first time, they're really interested. And we just see that trend continuing to evolve.
Nice. And then one thing that I love, and maybe this was on the 1723 and I didn't notice it, is you integrated the finger stalls, right? On the pinky and the ring finger. Is that right? There's only one like finger stall up there. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a much wider fit. Yeah. So there's fewer finger stalls than there used to be, again, with that intent of, if you're wearing this glove, you're wearing it because you want to have two fingers in that back stall at least.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking to some outfitters who put three in there, which is crazy. And we'll continue to evolve for that. But no, for the infielder who goes two in the pinky, this is a glove that we think is great. It's 11 3/4. So a lot of guys are probably more used to 11 1/2 in the infield, but we're seeing, as you kind of go to that two in the finger stall, you're kind of creating a pocket that's enabling you to play a little bit bigger. So it'll feel still small and easy and nimble like an infield glove should, but just a little bit bigger to kind of, maximize what you're trying to get with that deep pocket.
Nice. I would say that from like year to year, Wilson, you guys do, like, I love all the small tweaks that, like, and you guys do a great job of documenting all the small tweaks as well, between whether it be like spin control or like just the flat finger binding on the glove to make it easier to wear your finger on the outside like this. I always think that it's always fun. There's something every year that you guys do that seems like it just completely new from what's out there on the glove market. So kudos to you guys.
Well, thank you. So. And that comes from talking to ball players. It's why we have big leaguers come in our office. It's why we get out and to fields and just see what pain points players have. That's how we've been able to evolve over the years. And ASO is, a savant with this stuff. Obviously, he's the guru that everybody sees on social media. He's really that guy. It's that authentic. He's just caring about, like, what do ball players need right now? The game is different now than it was 30, 40 years ago when he first introduced the 1786. But how do we continue to evolve? How do we figure out what we can do better? We want to get better. We know we can get better. And that's why there's so many different patterns out there, is because we know different players want different things, and we just need to have an answer for every single player. So We're always chasing that and always looking to do what's best.
Nice. I love that. Well, thanks for joining us today, Aaron. This has been awesome. I love seeing your background with those gloves. It looks awesome. I'm jealous of where you're at. But before our guests leave, we always hit them. We do 3 strikes. So we got 3 questions for you, 20 seconds to answer each one. You can take longer than 20 seconds, but
okay.
But no, we got them for you. So first strike here. So I kind of mentioned them a little bit earlier, but the Wilson Glove Day videos on YouTube, those videos are magic. But what is the best part with your job? You're able to be on site for those. What's the best part about actually being in spring training for like a glove day with major league teams?
The best part about spring training and glove day is that nobody's lost any games yet. So everybody's just full of optimism. So it really is, it's Christmas for these guys, getting a glove that they designed on our builder or in our office, and they haven't seen it. So the reactions that you see in the video are really genuine. We don't ask anybody to hype it up for the camera or anything. It's just, hey, here's your new glove. And guys are just so pumped. So you kind of mentioned it too. Just seeing guys act like little kids because
Yeah.
they got a piece of sporting goods equipment is awesome. And it's the reason that everyone at Wilson got into the business we got into.
Nice. That's fun. And then, so for strike two, and you mentioned it, that you've gotten to spend some time with Aso and you've gotten to talk product with him, which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But what's one thing, I mean, everybody's seen him do the hot water method on like a YouTube video or something like that. But what's one thing that most people don't know about Aso, but they should?
Man, some fun Aso facts. His favorite dessert is vanilla ice cream, which is like for a guy who's as interesting as he is,
There
it's
you
like
go.
he's just plain old vanilla. So that would be a fun one I throw at you. But no, I think just that he's so genuine, and if he's talking to an 8-year-old or if he's talking to Juan Soto, his approach is exactly the same. He just wants people to love the game of baseball the way that he does. So he's just trying to create the best possible experience for them, and it's so genuine. And yeah, it's been a real honor to get to work with the guy.
Nice. And then the last strike. So the Wilson headquarters, you guys are in Chicago, Illinois, but you are actually a Baltimore, Maryland native. Is that correct?
I am, yes.
Nice.
Yes.
So you've had to adopt a new city working at Wilson. What's your favorite thing about your newly adopted hometown?
You know, it's a great sports town. Like I mentioned, we got 2 MLB teams and we got all the pro sports. But I think it's just such an outdoorsy place for a group of people who are stuck inside in the winter most of the year. The second the weather gets nice, and that's like 40 degrees around here, people are like, that's nice weather.
Yeah.
People are outside running about and on the lake. It's kind of low key a beach town with the lake. It's something that people definitely don't think of Chicago. So definitely just the outdoors nature. And then not being from Chicago, I just thought hot dogs and deep dish is what people like or eat around here, but it's an awesome food city. So I'm always eating something great. So and usually sitting outside while I eat it. So
there you go.
Outdoors, even though we're a winter city and a food city, much more than deep dish and hot dogs.
That's perfect. Well, Aaron, thanks for joining us. This has been a great conversation. We are definitely looking forward to the next year and tons of A2000s to pick from. So
many more to come. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of the Beyond the Glove podcast. As I always say, if you guys have friends out there that you think will enjoy this glove content, please share it with them. We'd appreciate that a bunch. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. And if you guys are on Apple or Spotify, give us that 5-star review. Thanks for watching. Till next time. See ya.